everyone. Welcome back to another episode of JP's Budget Collecting and our weekly Cash or Trash, where JP looks at the hot books of this week according to CBSI and Key Collector and Comic Tom and says what he thinks about them. So he makes predictions that are sure to go wrong because if I knew what I was talking about, well, I would have a lot more comics and be a lot richer. So there you go. We got a few people tailgating today. We had John tailgating and celebrating that he got here before Unruly. Poor Unruly is just a pawn in the game of life, but he is here, I assume. So, yes, he is still here. What's going on, Unruly? We got Deep House in the house. What's going on? We are going to be talking about this week's hot comics. How I do that every week for anybody that happens to be new is I throw them into categories. My predictions are all based off the next 6 months or so, 6 months to a year, because that's when I do the look back. So I may give a caveat if I think something's different longer term or whatever. But yeah, it's usually like this short next year or so what I think is going to happen with these books. So, hey, Dre, what is going on? Barnhouse Comics. MTY Ray. Sure, Cam. It was nice meeting you yesterday. Sorry we didn't get a chance to catch up for very long. I kind of turned around and everybody had kind of disappeared and I had to go. And yeah, so we didn't get a chance to actually talk very much at the little mini con we were at yesterday. So, but it was nice meeting you for sure. So let's see. I need to, what was I going to do? The categories I throw these books into. Books I think are going to continue to climb over the next 6 months. Stray Cats, homie. And really, these are books I think more than anything are just going to keep climbing based on almost all conditions. They might be lulls, but these are books I think are just going to trend up, up, and up. We got books that I think are worth it. That they're going to be good for the next 6 months. They're probably like, if you buy it now, that's probably the price you can get it for a while. It might go up a little bit, but it's going to be right in this range. We got the I'll Be Back, as the kitty says hello from underneath my chair. Books I think that are going to trend down just slightly, that you could probably do better if you're a little bit patient on. Just kind of look for that deal. They'll be in the same range they're at right now, but they'll probably take a slight step back as you get away from whatever news or information caused them to hit this list. We got It's a Trap. These are books that I think are going to back up significantly from this little peak that they're looking at right now. These are books that are going to drop 25, 30, 40, 50% in value because, they're just not quite going to have the long-term value that's not associated with whatever's happening right at the moment. And then we usually have, at least one, come on, man, like, what are we thinking? These books are just a terrible investment. You got to occasionally throw a dumpster fire in there. So just a really bad choice to chase this book at its current value. Mind you, this is not saying these books or any of these categories individually. It's saying that the current selling price is what I'm talking about. Like to go for them at their current selling price. We got a few more people coming in here. Joey Becca Sevens, what's happening? I appreciate that, John. Remind everybody to hit the like button. I do appreciate it. So, the little weasel dude, I haven't found a better, worth it. Like, he got in the little box, he ate all the donuts, he was all fat and happy, and, it was worth it, even though I can't move now. It was worth eating all that. It's kind of not the best, image. I haven't found a better one. I need to find a better worth it. So, yes, the cat is the true star of these videos, at least according to her. So that is for sure. So we have I think, did we end up with 19 this week? And for some reason, I don't even have my little list pulled up, which is really dumb. There it is. All right. So first up, what do we got? Hey, Ben, what's going on? Ben Compton in the house. Go add to the stream. The Something is Killing the Children deluxe edition hardcover with the slipcase. So not just the hardcover, but the one with the slipcase, which is the only real difference between the regular deluxe edition. But they decided, hey, people really want this. Let's make it limited and not tell anybody we're going to make it limited until after the order cutoff is. Because I was just gonna grab one when they came out. I was like, oh, they'll be out, they'll be for sale. I'll be able to grab one on Amazon at least for a little while. Nope. And so they made them limited because we don't actually want you to read our comic. We just want you to pay crazy prices for it. So raw version. So this was a $50-$60 buy-in, and now it's going for $125 to $150 plus for this hardcover on the secondary market. So we got a so not worth it. Everybody bought it says it's worth it. Like, there you got a slipcase for $48, man, or the ain't paid double for that slipcase. That's kind of where I'm at. As soon as the hardcover comes out, that I know won't be as limited, I'm going to try to grab that. But yeah, a little disappointed. I was like, oh, I'll just get it when it comes out. I didn't feel the need to pre-order, so I missed out on this. I'm not really that worried about this black slipcase cover, but anyway, this is on the list. It's not often we get hardcovers on the list, so a little tougher to judge. It's already being reprinted, but they're going to make a deluxe edition. I don't know that you're going to get the slipcase, which is like, it's the same thing. But it's hard for me to judge hardcovers because I don't get a lot. I don't track them a lot. Generally, I know limited hardcovers, particularly if it's a limited Omni or something like that, do generally go up long term. Everything Something Is Killing the Children has went up long term. Whether you agree with it or not, but that's just kind of the pattern that it has had. So my guess is this particular, because if they call it a first print, if it's got like a first printing thing, hardcover, slipcase, I'm kind of leaning toward probably going to hold this value, which seems really stupid. I feel like it's ridiculous to say that, but I'm leaning toward worth it on this. I don't know that it jumps a whole lot. I don't know. Again, it's hard for me to judge. Good for you, man. And we got a meh. Sorry, I got my. Good for you. Glad you were able to snag it. Work with this title until the hype cools. Yeah. So I feel like over the 6 months, I think long term, it's probably not. It's probably worth it. Short term, it might actually be a straight cash. But yeah, so that's like over the next few weeks, month or so, it's probably going to gain and gain. But my guess is it's 6 months, a year from now, you're looking at probably worth it. I'm not super like stuck on this, but that's just kind of where I'm at. It's Something Is Killing the Children generally. Oh, slipcase is being exactly like this, but it's $69.99 this time. Yeah, again, I'm going to stick with just the regular deluxe edition, and I don't need the slipcase. This is all I'm saying. So there you go. Well, yeah, they're going to try to make some money. There you go. So if that's the case, if it is exactly the same, but my guess is it may still be like first printing, second printing, like on the inside of the book, which is typically what you get like with books. This first printing probably still ends up being worth it. If they don't distinguish the printings on the inside, then it probably doesn't. Then it falls back. I'm going to stick with worth it because I would assume they will distinguish between a first print and a second print. And a first prints will probably hold their value. But we'll see. Even though they're the same thing, that is in the book market, that is definitely a thing. So all right, so we're going to move on. Spend enough time on that. We're going to move on to Uncharted #1. Does anyone feel like this is the New Mutants movie? Like that this thing has been talked. I feel like this movie has been talked about for like half a decade or more, that it was supposed to be coming out. It was supposed to be coming out. It was supposed to be coming out. Didn't they do a bunch of reshoots or something, or a recasting? And like, I feel like this movie has been in production limbo for like at least a decade. I feel like Tom Holland got cast in this role like after the first Spider-Man movie. But anyway, we finally got a trailer for this. And if you've been watching some of the lookbacks, the trailer is the worst. It's even worse than movie release weekend. The trailer release is the peak of the hype for anything, Marvel, anything, unless it's truly like a Silver Age, like any of these little side characters, anything else. The trailer is the peak of the hype. We got the trailer this week. This jumped up to a $60+ book raw. production hell. It's a video game. So it's based on a video game. Video game movies don't tend to do all that well. They waited for Tom to grow stubble. We got dumb. The crowd is not enjoying this or not high on this. I didn't put it as a trap. I put it as an I'll be back on my list. I could probably be talked into making it a trap. My guess is that because it's 60 plus, to be a trap, it only has to drop down to like 30. It's a video. Yeah, it's based on a video game. Clicked on the wrong screen. So I'll leave it as I'll be back, but I actually lean more toward trap. I'm torn between which one I actually want to say with this. People are talking about The Last of Us, that's held. I don't know what the print run on this one is for sure, but I think it's more than that Last of Us one was. There is, John is correct, Uncharted does have a big fan base, but you think about even like those Tomb Raider books, they've been a bunch of movies of that. There's been other things. Generally, these game things just do not hold. It's pretty rare. Last of Us is an exception. I would say, I have to come back to that one. I say it's a trap for sure. Yeah. This is true. I'm going to say Bad Avenger is saying it is an extremely low print run. I'm still saying it's an I'll be back. That's where I'm sticking. All right, next. We got Gunslinger Spawn. Number 1, the Todd McFarlane signed variant of 1191 that he signed and sent out. I believe these were, so this thing is going for $550 to $650, which it's got the two things that Spawn people love more than anything else. It's got Gunslinger Spawn, which is the version people love. Any cover with Gunslinger Spawn on it seems to get hot, at least to some degree. Spawn fans go nuts for this. And it's got a McFarlane signature, which McFarlane fans go nuts for McFarlane signatures. And I get he has a cool signature, but it's not like his signatures are hard to find. I've never quite understood why people were willing to pay a premium. It's not like he doesn't sign. He does. Now, he maybe is a little tough and maybe he charges and stuff, but like, I don't get it. But these two things together, even though I would never pay what it's going for right now, there's 1,100 copies of the thing. It's signed. It's Gunslinger Spawn. It's probably this. Like, all the people going meh and wouldn't do it and all this in the chat. It is lower print than the King Spawn exclusive. And my guess is it'll hold a higher value than the King Spawn exclusive because it's Gunslinger. 1,191. That he signed. This Spawn thing, I'll stay out of it. I don't personally would not pay for this, like these kind of prices for this, but that's me. I think Spawn collectors are going to. So that's my guess. We'll see. We'll see in a few months when I do the look back at how well these two still meant. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, unreally. It's going to hold value, if not go up, but it's like, I wouldn't do it. And speaking of McFarlane, we got a repeat from last week. Factors on this book are the same. All that happened here was this book switched lists. Last week it was going for $35 to $40 raw. This is the Killadelphia number 12 McFarlane variant that I guess people discovered after the fact was actually a McFarlane variant and started chasing. And so last week it was on the CBSI list for $35, $40. This week it's on the Comic Tom list for $35, $40. 9.8, still going for $110. It had been sitting as a $10+ book until like the last week or so when I guess the Spawn fans or the McFarlane fans discovered this existed, and suddenly it's a $35, $40 book. Best cover in decades. Everybody else that to get the one for 1 and 250. Wow, nice. It's a trap. I don't think it's a trap. McFarlane fans are nuts. Like, as we just talked about on the Spawn thing, like, Farland fans are nuts. They are dedicated to this. I still think it's an I'll be back, though. There's nothing like particularly, there's no particular other reason to chase this other than this cover. I don't think it's that great a cover. It is. He doesn't do a ton of covers outside his own stuff anymore. But yeah. Good for you, John. I know John has been obsessed with Killadelphia for a long time. I need to add it to my indie list to read at some point. But I'm still putting this as an I'll be back. Even though it's McFarlane. It's not Spawn. It's cool, but yeah, there isn't, despite the people that I know that are reading Killadelphia like raving about it, I haven't heard a ton of buzz about this. It's not really going crazy on the secondary market. Yeah, I just think there's plenty of other options to really put, but this isn't like it's that rare to find him on something else. So yeah, this is the general consensus I get about the story, is that it's really cool. I have not read it yet. It's on the list of something to potentially add. I just haven't got there yet. So, all right. So next we have Phoenix Song Echo #1, the Oscar Vega 1 in 25 variant. Is going for $40 to $50 out the gate. There was only 11 listings on eBay, so it appears to be not a ton of these out there. I can't imagine that many stores order 25 copies of Phoenix Song. I do think this is a really cool variant, given Echo's history, Native American history and everything else. I love this cover. The 40 or 50, though, on the 1 in 25 rule says this is an I'll be back, that it's going to end up between 25 and 50. That is the rule. But the fact that there's only so many listed makes it well, maybe this is going to be rare enough that it breaks the rule. Really, the next 2 weeks will tell the tale on this. If this book hits the list again in the next 2 weeks because it jumped to close to 100, then my guess is this book is going to have staying power and hold value. If it doesn't, if it stays around this 40, 50, then over the 6 months, it's going to fall back. I'm going to lean toward my rule on 1 in 25s. If they are only getting to about double ratio, they fall back to an I'll be back. Despite the fact that I really like this cover, I think it's really cool. I probably, though, still wouldn't chase it just because don't necessarily have any stake in this character. But I would guess there's not a ton of these out there either. There's a Pass. Nice cover, meh. Pass on Phoenix, meh. Yeah, there's a lot of meh. Yeah, meh. And I think that's generally, but I do think the fact that so few people are after the title means this is going to be pretty rare for a 1 in 25, which might make it buck the trend, but I kind of doubt it. No. There's way too much focus on covers and keys and not enough on story anymore, but that is the market. There's only actually a few there's 4 covers this week, and then everything else is MCU and DC fandom. So there you go. Next, we got the book, a different version of the book that put me on the limited monetary, that stupid gun hunting cover from last week made limited the monetary value of this video last week. It was like, oh, really? So here's the thing. This is the second print. It's going for $25 plus of Gun Hunting #1, second print. This one I don't think is that's kind of a cool cover. I've seen the style a lot. I'm not sure what's pushing this. So I'm going to ask you guys here. Have people read this? Is this good? I'm not trying to figure out what's going on. It's going for $25 plus on the second print. This is not a super. It's a sexy cover, but it's not like some of those others that we'd seen on the list. To me, this screams trap. I'm like, what is going on? Because I haven't heard one person say the contents of that book is good. That doesn't mean there aren't people, but yeah. Blag. Yeah. See, this is what I've heard. So why are people paying? This cover isn't anything that spectacular to be paying 25 plus for the second print. Are people just specking that because of the title it's going to get optioned or something? I don't understand. It's kind of an interesting style. I've seen this style before on some covers. It's kind of a cool one, but it's not that great. Oh, okay. Jay Hood with a little insight here. This is Robert McGinnis, a famous paperback cover illustrator. Like that, yeah, that Tesla book had a similar style. I still don't think this is enough to carry it at $25. I don't think the series is going to have the legs, pun intended, to really like carry this value. To me, this is a trap. Despite that being some artist that maybe doesn't do comics very much, I'm still going with trap. So there you go. I just don't understand this whole gun honey thing. Hey, Code Red, what's going on? Warlord. Nikolai saying it's Nicole saying it's already been optioned. Sorry, Nicole. I mispronounced your name the first time. Option means nothing. Doesn't mean it's going to get produced. Oh, it's a girl with a gun. Let's option it. There's a lot of those movies anymore. I'm sticking with my adjustment, but yeah, that does explain why there's people chasing some of these though. I had not heard this had been optioned yet. Jay Hood saying it's reused art. Great. Why are we chasing this? Oh, geez. Okay. Next, we're into the DC fandom stuff. And this is Blood Syndicate #1. This is one of those Tom and then put on the list that I don't quite understand. This is basically was based on the announcement at DC Fandom that Milestone Comics are returning, which they'd actually announced like a year ago, and then we never really got them. We got some digital stuff with Static and some other stuff. And so, but now we got that they're going to be more of a push to redo, to reintroduce some of these Milestone characters. This book's only going for $5 raw. A 9.8 will go for $140, which is just because it's kind of beat up. I guess for $5, it's probably fine, worth it. But this is another one of those. I'm like, okay, there was a bunch of sales, but it didn't move. It moved the needle in that people were like, oh, I want to grab a copy, but it didn't move the needle in that people were willing to pay more. So I get you guys saying pass, 50-cent bin book forever. My guess is you can find a ton of these in back issues. Yeah. Hard pass. I'm still going to put worth it. It's $5 in 6 months. I guess maybe you could argue if there's almost no sales and it's still going for $5, then I'll be back. But I mean, if you buy it for $5, you probably paid $4 too much. I don't know. Yeah, to me, anything that's really going to take off with Milestone is probably going to be those two. Yeah, I would agree with that. Rather get confident donut. This is true. This is true. Next up, we got DC Festival of Heroes #1. The DC Festival of Heroes Asian Superhero Celebration #1 from back in the spring. This is the Monkey Prince 1 in 25 variant, and this celebration of this book contains the first appearance of the Monkey Prince. He appeared in this issue for the first time, and he's basically we got an announcement at Fandom that he is going to get his own maxi series of 12 issues starting next year. Dre, are you talking about the Milestone thing? Or are you talking about this? Because I'm not sure. I think he's talking about this. Don't pay a high price. Wait. To me, this is I'm all in on the Monkey Prince. Well, I had 600 extra bucks. I bought one. #1, #6 Gunslinger. There you go. Monkey Prince fans, your choice. I'll do them. Okay, he was talking about the Syndicate, I think. The Blood Syndicate stuff. I do think like Icon and Static are books that probably still have potential. I don't know about the Blood Syndicate stuff, but anyway, this guy's getting a miniseries. The book has jumped to $40 to $50 for this 1 in 25. This is another I'll be back. Okay, this is news. Got a little people interested. Maybe if that series is a big hit, then like if it is well received and people start talking about it, it might possibly hold close to this value. But my guess is it will not. And then we got a few months here before the series even comes out. You're going to be able to get this for cheaper if you're just patient. This is easily classic I'll be back. Might as well play the lotto, JP. Maybe I'll have better luck. There you go. Yeah. He was talking about... Okay, I figured that out. It took me a second. Because his father's the Monkey King. So supposedly his father is going to... or did appear or something. I don't know. Tom and them were talking about it. But yeah, the Monkey King does also appear. Just make pop. Yeah. It's, I don't know. The Monkey King is a long-held myth in China that, that's gotten a bunch of storytelling. There's a bunch of stuff with it. This is kind of them putting a new take on it for both American and Chinese and Asian markets, I would guess. That the prince is his son and that they have a little room there's no existing, kind of like, well, I guess it's their attempt to do a Thor type character. Everybody knew who Thor was. Thor has has origins and Viking culture and everything else, and Odin and everything else. Well, they took their spin on it. I guess that's what they're going for here. We'll see. Yeah, the Monkey King did beat Darkseid according to this book. So, yep, Dragon Ball is the same thing as a take on the Monkey King, for sure. So, there's been a bunch of different versions of the Monkey King. This is DC's version. It's a very popular storytelling trope in Asia, especially China, or a character with a lot of history. So this is their take on it. To me, this is still an I'll be back. Next, we got Shazam, number 28. The first, I guess, modern is the best way to put this, because it was Bronze Age appearance of Black Adam, but basically he appeared in Golden Age, didn't appear again until 77. So yeah, he never appeared in the Silver Age. There you go, Dharma Cartoon with Monkey King. There you go. So basically we finally got footage. Another movie that's been in production, hell, it seems like for half a decade. When did we find out The Rock was playing Black Adam? Was that like 2012? I feel like that was like 2012. It wasn't that long ago. It's probably like 16, 17, but it's been a long freaking time to get The Rock as Black Adam to the screen. We're still don't even close enough to get a trailer, but we did finally get footage. This caused this book to hit all-time highs. A 9.8 went for $7,000, which was an all-time high. A 9.2 went for $1,300, which was an all-time high. Here's the thing. I remember Don. They've been trying to make that movie since like 07. Yeah. Yeah. Here's my thoughts about this. So I'm torn. I have no faith in Warner Brothers to make DC movies good. I have no faith. There have been some good ones, don't get me wrong, mixed in, but to consistently make a good movie, I have no faith in it. I do have some faith. I do think The Rock as Black Adam is excellent casting. Yeah. Hey, Planet Arizona, what's going on? Here's the thing. Trailer hype. Look at the Shang-Chi book I just broke down this week on the look back. That book is already down from the trailer hype. It was down when the movie came out from the trailer hype. First appearance in Shang-Chi, that movie was a hit. People enjoyed it. People are looking forward to that character. That book is still down from the trailer hype. This was just footage, not trailer. But my guess is this is an I'll be back. I do think this book will keep climbing. And if he's a really big success long term, this book is going to jump. Now, I'm not sure. Now, 6 months from now, I could be wrong because we could get a trailer that's badass right around the time that I do this look back, and this book could jump. But I would guess in the meantime, this is an I'll be back for sure. Yeah. Black Adam plays the Rock the other way around. There you go. I like it. I just the way the market tends to move. I think this is an I'll be. I think you're gonna have opportunities to get this for less than these all-time highs it's going for right now for sure. We'll see. Maybe we get a trailer in 4 months and it pushes it higher. But yeah, it may be a longer I'll be back. The longer term I'll be back, but to me this is an I'll be back. Next we get Batman 405, second part of the year one storyline. This hit the book because we got Merkel and Carmine Falcone portrayed in the trailer. So they're both of their first appearances are in this book. Sarah Essen's first appearance is also in this book, but we didn't get her. But like we've actually gotten both of them on screen before, but it's clear they're going to be part of this movie. So this book got a jump. This is another one of the. Is this a Tom book? I forget. Yeah, this is another Tom book. It's only going 10 to 15. It's not a huge jump. 9.8 of this still to go for like 200 plus. This is another I'll be back. These are not characters that have shown. They've been used multiple times now in the movies and stuff. They've not shown a staying power. I don't think this movie's going to make that big a difference. I don't think they're the main plot point. You got Catwoman, you got Penguin, you got Riddler. These are going to be side characters at best. And yeah, to me, this is just an I'll be back. It is a beautiful cover. It's a great, very few on the census. Yeah. Cast for originality. The trailer was, I would agree. I really enjoyed the trailer. It's a book I want. It's a book that like Batman collectors want more for this. This is to me, if you're going to pay 10 or 15, if you're going to buy this book, it's because you're buying it for the story. It's not for these first appearances, but that's just me. So it's probably technically should be just worth it at $10 to $15. But yeah, I don't know that there's any reason to like chase it because of these character first appearances. There was a huge spike in sales. The value didn't really move. So that's what we're talking about here. Next, we got ASM 569, first appearance of Anti-Venom. Basically, we got a teaser for Anti-Venom and Venom 2. So that's what caused this book to spike. This is the A cover. It's going now for raw copies are 100 plus. 9.8 is going for 300. Here's the thing. I'd rather have the other cover, the Eddie Granoff cover, and I'd rather have the second print, which actually has Anti-Venom on it, than I would this one. Like, to me, this is the third version of that book you would want. I know I'm really a hater on second prints, but in this case, the character appears on the second print. You know that's always going to be the big book. This is not, the Eddie Granoff is not that much more than this one. I would probably go for the Venom Eddie Granoff cover over this one, but again, we're ways out, and based on the way Carnage moved between Venom 1 and Venom 2, this is going to be highs and lows as we get news, but this book is definitely going to be an I'll be back because you're going to have opportunities. 300 Raz. Yeah, the Eddie Granoff cover is way better. 270 is enough. Yeah. Year one, Frank Miller, Mazzucchelli, it's, yeah. I'm going to say his name wrong. Mazzucchelli? My brain doesn't work. Anyway, the writer and artist on year one are amazing. So there you go. Is it actually, can I see it? Mazzucchelli! Gosh dang it. I was like, I don't know why I got on Mazzucchelli. I was like, that is not right. Like 300 symbiotes at this point. really, really. But anyway, that's what's going on here. This book is you're gonna have opportunities. People are gonna forget about this. This is an I'll be back for sure. Next, we got rumors of a World War Hulk movie. So people went out and bought World War Hulk #1, even though there's not really any keys in it. 15. It was going for around $15 on average, but it's sold up to $60 for a raw copy on this. There's no confirmation of this yet. Storylines rarely hold value. This is unconfirmed. So if you're paying 15, you're probably fine. But if you're paying 60, this is absolutely, without a doubt, a trap. Why on earth would you pay $60 for this? It's a good story, but those tend to not hold. They just don't. Like, unless they're true, unless they were going for something even before, even if they make a movie, and the movie's not going to exactly follow this. It's not. They're going to use some concepts from it, but it's not going to follow this story. Well, Thor Ragnarok was technically Planet Hulk, which was the precursor to this. So World War Hulk was the follow-up to Planet Hulk, so that's kind of what they're saying here. But yeah, sell this sucker if you have it. That's what I would say. Plus, we have no confirmation of any kind of deal between them and Universal, which will allow them to even make this movie. We've just heard rumors again. Yeah, they're going to deviate from that particular storyline. But Ragnarok was a deviation of the Planet Hulk story. So this would be, a little different. So we'll see. It is a good Finch cover. Let's see what we got next. We got Rogue #1. This is only going for 10 to 15. Now, this is 1995, 90s goodness. There's a bunch of these out there. It is her first solo series. And basically, this is going for 10 to 15. 9.8 going for 70. I had to laugh at Tom and Russ talking about this one. And like, I know they get a lot of crap. Some of it I think deserve, some of that I think is not. But anyway, they talked about this, and basically someone on YouTube, I forget the name, it wasn't the name I was familiar with, promoted this saying, hey, a lot of these first solo series of characters that appear in are jumping. Like, those books are jumping in value. Here's an undervalued one, Rogue. And I get that. It is her first solo, and it comes so far, though, after her first appearance. But it probably maybe is a little undervalued. But then Tom was on there going like, what do I always say? If you can't get the first appearance, get the first solo, which is not what he always says. He always says if you can't get the first appearance, get the second appearance. So this is another dollar bin book. It is Rogue. Yeah, you can probably definitely find it. This is true. Ragnarok was like 4 stories mashed together. You are correct. But if you're paying 10 to 15, a 9.8 for $70, that's pretty cheap. Like, I lean toward but the thing is, it's never shown the ability to hold that kind of value. But you think about all the X-Men keys that have jumped in the last year, although a bunch of them are coming back. The fact that this one is still that cheap, I know there's a ton of them. I lean almost toward worth it at $10 to $15, but I put I'll be back. Yeah. Easy come by, and dollar bins overprint particularly around. Yeah. I would guess it is pretty hard to find this in high grade just because of the foil cover and stuff, but yeah. Bison Chili Fries and Friend. That's obviously the book you want. And I'll be honest, this is not a great Rogue cover. I don't know. I don't know who did this cover for sure, but like, her face looks a little funky to me. That's just me. All right, next. Oh, I'm going to go back. Okay, 3 books left. No, wait. Am I there yet? No, I'm not. Okay, no. Do I have books? I have books out of order. No, I don't. Okay, sorry. I thought I was clicking on the wrong book. Okay. There's 5 books left. My bad. Jungle Action #7. Similar thing here. Second appearance of Killmonger. Rumors that maybe they'll bring him back. This is another one where I think Tom and them walk the fine line. And Key Collector walks the fine line of a conflict of interest. He put this on his Nick picks. That, hey, the second appearance of Killmonger is pretty undervalued. You should go get it. And then suddenly it's on the list, and there's a bunch of sales. And it's like, and then they brag it that it made the list because there's a bunch of sales because Nick talked about it. And it's like, well, you talked about it. That's, yeah. It's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. That annoys me. It's where they're walking that fine line for sure. Raw copies are $25, 9.6 of 185. I would guess this probably is maybe a little undervalued. I'm not convinced we're getting him back. I know a lot of people are convinced that, they got to go with Michael B. Jordan. I'm not sure they're going to. I know he does come back to life in the comics at one point, but so does everybody almost. We had this discussion last week. And yeah, they are pretty hard to come by. It's probably worth it. I put it as an I'll be back. This is potentially a worth it. I'm going to stick with my I'll be back because I just don't think there's enough hype and buzz right now. Unless we get an actual confirmation. If this goes away, I think, I don't think we're going to get any kind of confirmation anytime soon. For sure. So, hold. There you go. Next, we got Ghost Rider #33. So I guess there's a ton of first appearances in here, including a bunch of Ghost Riders of Tomorrow and everything else. So this book jumped, though, this week. It was already a, $30, $40 book just because there's a bunch of first appearances and people have been specking on it. It jumped all the way to $75 plus because some site with zero credibility, like who puts this crap out all the time, claiming they have information and proves that they don't. They didn't even list the site, but they were just talking about that it was not a good site. Said there's going to be a Ghost Rider in Doctor Strange, which we've heard on and off multiple times that we're going to get one of the Ghost Riders in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. The odds of it being one of these is pretty slim, I would guess. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe Comic Book Lover. Yes, the villain's name. They talked about that. The name was Venom. Yeah, the villain in that second appearance of Killmonger. Yeah. To me, this is absolutely, without a doubt, because there's no real, there's no good information. It's not good information. This is a trap. The odds that they're going to use one of these as opposed to Robbie Rodriguez or even that girl one they talked about or one of the ones that are more well known, I don't think so. I would be stunned if this is the way they go. 1 out of 10 the cases. There you go. 75 plus. Just crazy. That's absolutely a trap. Next, speaking of, well, if it was going for more, speaking of traps, it's not going for more. Kitty Pryde and Wolverine #1. First appearance of Ogun. So basically, there's a character that appears for the first time in this book that is known to wear this Oni mask or whatever, and there's a character in the Hit Monkey trailer wearing an Oni mask, and they're like, oh, it's this guy. Maybe. It could be any guy, because it's not even exactly the same mask. That's Fireman. That would be cool. No. And the cake. MODOK gonna be in flop. I think Hit Monkey might be do better, but I don't believe it's gonna do anything. But here's the thing. It's going for $5. It's a $5 book. Again, it's not really that hot. There was a bunch of sales. Okay, it's $5. A 9.8 goes for $140, which I'm surprised there's hardly any 9.8s of this book. Here's another one, though. If you want to first solo series, not even the solo series, though, because it is Kitty Pryde and Wolverine. But yeah, her in the title, kind of like that Rogue book. But I put I'll Be Back because it's $5. Whatever. Okay. This will fade away. Okay. All right, now we're to 3 books left. Right? Let me double check. Let me look here. Yeah, 3 books left. Okay. Before I talk about the final 3 books today, here's your chance to avoid spoilers if you haven't already been ruined, which is almost impossible. Basically, there was that report that came out that basically spoiled part of Eternals, part of the after credit scene, everything else. And they just a bunch of media things just ran with it and kept putting it out there, even though it was a spoiler, which technically they're not supposed to do. They're supposed to sign these agreements, but they did it anyway, and they all did it. So there's been spoilers all over the market. So the last 3 books all have to do with this spoiler related to Eternals. If you somehow managed to avoid them, which I actually had until I was looking at the list to do this. And I was like, what the heck? Why is this book? And I was like, oh, son of a... If you've managed to avoid the spoilers, so I need to put this on the thing. Hang on, let me put a banner on. Let me edit this real quick. Journals, spoilers. Save that. Let me put that up there. All right. So the last 3 books have spoilers. They're not big, major spoilers, but there is a spoiler related to Eternals. So if you don't want to know anything going in, now's your chance to get out. There you go. Maybe it was. I'm going to give you the opportunity to avoid it if you want to. There you go. So that's what I'm doing. So last 3 books. Okay, last chance. Spoilers going from here forward. First up, we have Captain Marvel 27. First appearance of Eros, who later becomes Star Fox. This is the brother of Thanos. And basically we got news that Harry Styles is playing this character in the Eternals movie, that he makes at least an appearance. So, I mean, it's not a huge spoiler, but it's just annoying. that they put this out there. So that's why this book is jumping. This is his first full appearance of Eros. There's actually, 55 he makes a cameo in. Raw copies of this are up to $125. So again, this is going to be like a little cameo. Think about before we got news she was getting her own series. What happened to that Agatha Harkness book? What happened to the that we've been talking about on the 6 months later? What happened to the John Walker books? What happened to last week Val, Contessa, whatever Val's books? All those books backed up. This book is going to, all those Shang-Chi books, just a couple months after the movie, have already backed up. This is backing up for sure. Do not chase the hype here. $125 for this. The next book, this is definitely an I'll be back. Not the Star Fox character, the Marvel character. There is a Marvel character called Putting Him on Trial in She-Hulk. Well, they may. We'll see. That's one of the books we're going to talk about here in a second. Is Harry going to be a wizard? There you go. So next we get Avengers 232, which was literally like $1, maybe a $5 book. Like before this news, 9.8s were barely going for 100 on this book. This is where he joins the Avengers and takes the name Star Fox. Before this, he was just Eros. This book is now going for $40 to $50 for a raw copy. 9.8 sales this week of $700 and then $950 on this character. Are you kidding me? I put Trap. I wanted to put Dumpster Fire. These are out there. I'm gonna show the Dumpster Fire thing anyway. Do we really think this is gonna be a main character going forward? You're paying $1,000 for 9.8 of this. You can, at this point, you can get those Monica Rambeau books, which she's getting her own series and stuff, are almost back down to $1,000 for 9.8. Yeah. This is just absolutely for sure a trap. Dumpster Fire in Space. I showed the horn cover already. All right. We'll get there. So, yeah, trap on this one. And this last one, She-Hulk, number 6. The Greg Horn. It's a nice cover of She-Hulk. Which at first I thought was just because he was on the cover, but yeah, so he goes on trial for sexual assault because he uses his powers to manipulate women to be with him. I don't know. That's the story anyway. I don't know if he gets convicted or what, but it sounds like he probably was doing it, at least to some degree. But people are paying $30 to $40 for this trial storyline. I'm going to guess that's not what the She-Hulk show is going to focus on. She-Hulk is a nice trap. Yeah. Nice trap. I don't see any way that they do that storyline right now. No way in the world. This is absolutely, the spec on this is, come on. There's no way Marvel's doing that. Just not. Come on, man. No, it's a trap. Don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, if you're doing it because you want to look at, the certain part of the screen, then, then okay. But otherwise, don't do it. All right. That's the list. Those are everything. Let me get the spoiler thing off here. Let me get these books over here. Remove. Get the spoiler, the banner off. So I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. This took a little longer than typical. Oh, wow. Almost 50 minutes. There you go. There you go. Now's your chance. Now is your chance. Yeah. No, I don't think there's any way. Thanks for hanging out, you guys. I'll be back tonight with my whatever report. And I got a bunch of stuff coming up this week. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me as always. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And we will catch you later if I can remember how to do this.